Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 36 of the Unofficial Rogue Company Podcast, BROGUECAST. I'm here with Co-Reed.
Here with Dart Lord.
I'm here with Garbo.
And I'm here with Griffin.
And this is the Rogue Company Podcast, bringing you all the news that you need to know about Rogue Company. And if anybody's interested, there's a giveaway that's going on. Link will be in the description down below. But let's hop right into this here. We're going to talk about the Walking Dead update. Walking Dead update was a very interesting update, to say the least. We've got a crossover event with the Walking Dead, of course. We also got some other skins, like Halloween themed skins for some other rogues. We also got a lot of bugs and issues that came with it and some things that were fixed. But I'll start off here by talking about the Walking Dead bundles. We talked about this on the last episode. They're releasing these Walking Dead bundles, each one, the colored version, the black and white version, and also the cosmetic bundle for what, 1,500 rogue bucks a piece? I think it's what it is. So if you get all of them, it's like $105 total, but you can hit them. They've got a specific like rogue supply drop for the bundles themselves. Now, this was one of those things where they didn't really clarify it to me, like when I was reading through everything, because I was under the impression that you hit the box and you get possibly one skin and possibly one whatever, like one mythic weapon wrap or one thing from the cosmetic bundle or whatever. But no, you roll that box and you get an entire bundle, which is good. It's a good deal because it's only 1,000 rogue bucks. But at the same time, there really wasn't much clarification there. But if you decide to get everything, then you're saving yourself quite a bit of rogue bucks by doing that, because it's 500 less. There's 7 bundles. That's what, 3,500 rogue bucks that you're not going to have to worry about. So that's not bad if you want to get everything, you know? So looking at some of the skins and seeing some of the skins in game. And here's one thing that I will say real quick. The amount of people that I've seen actually using the Walking Dead skin compared to the people that actually used the Rambo skin when it was introduced is night and day. I hardly ever see anybody running the Walking Dead skins, and I saw everybody using the Rambo skin. I wonder why. I mean, you think the price might be a little too steep on it?
I mean,
There's a reason I haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, when they released the Rambo bundle, you got Rambo and Seeker. If you didn't own Seeker, you got a mythic weapon wrap with the Sahara, and you also got a mythic melee weapon wrap with the combat knife. So you got a skin and 2 mythic wraps for 2,000 rogue bucks, I think it was. They're charging 1,500 rogue bucks for one version of a skin, and also one version of a mythic weapon wrap that is a melee weapon for everything except for the Rick skin. So it's, I mean, they probably should have bundled the colored and the black and white variations into one bundle and sold that. Yeah. And sold that for 2,000 rogue bucks. They probably, yeah, they would have got more interest in it, right?
What about a deal if you buy it all?
Yeah,
Whole bundle.
Yeah. I mean, if they bundled all 7 bundles into a master Walking Dead bundle and charged like, I don't know, 5,000 rogue bucks for it.
Yeesh.
I mean, that's a lot, but that's half of what you would be spending to buy them separately.
Buy them all separate out, yeah.
And if you bought all of them in the supply drop, that's still 7,000 rogue bucks. So you're still getting it cheaper than that. So I don't know, man. I'm sure on paper it was great, but in reality, I don't think it's panning out quite as well as they was hoping it would. I would be very interested to see the numbers of the people that actually purchase this stuff. You know what I mean?
And what they had to pay to do this.
Exactly. Right.
How much did that cost?
The
to license
contract,
that?
dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Get that license.
And see, they license the comic book representation of them. So you've got to imagine that licensing was way, way cheaper than the Rambo thing and everything else. It's like they're robbing the cradle in a sense, because if you pay $5,000 to license this property out, right? And then you've got to, of course, pay your employees to make visual representations of all of that stuff. It's realistically, whenever you're spending, if people want to get everything for $100 a pop, it's not that much in the grand scheme of things. Like, you just drop $20K on a RCCS land tournament. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I would be interested to see what those numbers actually are. And then on top of that, let's talk about this Desert Eagle Mythic weapon wrap for a second here. This polarizes the absolute shit out of me, because they gave Dallas, aka Rick in this situation, an Mythic weapon wrap for the revolver that looks like the Executioner. I don't know why they chose to do this. I honestly have no idea. Like, to me, if you're going to make a Mythic weapon wrap that's a pistol wrap for Rick, it should be the revolver, because that's what he used in the comics, especially for the majority of the people that read those early issues. Now you've got two weapons that look the same, that perform drastically different. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
I looked that up, and they said in the comics he uses the Desert Eagle more than the other one.
Right, which
but there's hundreds of books like
yeah.
But when I think Rick,
yeah, you think
we all
the revolver, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool that they brought Negan into it. It's cool that they brought Michonne into it. It's cool that Lucille is represented as a Mythic weapon wrap. Like, I'm cool with all of that stuff, but the price of this is just so unbelievable that it makes sense why people aren't purchasing it. But I will say this, though. I love the way that cell shaded graphics look, like Borderlands, stuff like that. I love the way cell shaded graphics look. And I like the way that these skins look in game when they don't have visual bugs. I wouldn't be upset if they decided to transition the entire game into a more clean, simplistic, cell shaded type of game. They could remove some of the details that some of these skins have and use heavy black lines to like accentuate certain parts of the skin, and it would probably be a little bit less taxing on everybody's systems as well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I would be okay if they transitioned everything into that. That's me personally. I know that there's a lot of people that do not like the cell shaded graphics, but I would not be upset with it whatsoever. So the Bad Actors narrative event, we're getting a narrative event. It's more about Trench and his leg went missing and all this kind of stuff. So we do get a couple of things from this Bad Actors narrative event. We get the classic Dallas spray. We get a weapon wrap, a glider, or a rocket pack, whatever it's called, and also a title that says Fugitive. And this is just like all of the other events that they've had recently. You're locked out for a certain amount of time. You have to do, of course, these specific challenges to unlock it. You can't unlock the next part of it till you unlock the previous part of it. It's copy and paste what they've done in the past. It's not very user friendly or anything like that. It doesn't really, like, yes, you get some more of the story, but there's nothing that drives that story other than a couple of comic panels at that point. Like, there's no video, there's no audio, there's no nothing. It's just a very lackluster event that they're continuing with. I understand that the Walking Dead crossover was supposed to be like the holiday event thing that they're doing, but it's odd that they lump this Bad Actors narrative event in with it, and then it's also odd that they think that this is the best way to do events moving forward. That's all I'll say about that. It's just, and the rewards are very lackluster, to say the least, you know?
My day 2 doesn't work.
Like
it's just not moving.
There's a lot of people that's been reporting issues with their contracts, not only the narrative event contracts, but also the weekly, daily, and seasonal contracts since the update came out. So it's a bug. You know what I mean? It's a bug. I don't know. I don't even know. Yeah, chalk it up to a bug.
Put it
man.
on the
I don't
list.
know. Yeah, right.
We'll add it to the bowl.
Yeah.
Who had bugs?
Yeah. Oh, let's put that back in there. Also, they added weekly contracts. We just kind of hinted on that just a little bit. So they added, we originally had seasonal contracts that were added into the game. We had daily contracts that were added into the game. And now they are going to start adding weekly contracts into the game. And we got our first little snippet of it now, right? We got our first little look at what these weekly contracts are. And they're very underwhelming in a big way. Play 15 strikeout matches. Cool. Throw 40 smoke grenades. Wow. Like, I finished a good majority of them that first day that I played after the update came out. And the rewards for it is like 200, 300, 400, 500 reputation per contract, but they don't award you this reputation until the end of the week. So it feels like you're getting more when realistically you're getting the same amount, if not less, for the amount of work that you have to do as daily contracts. Oh, and there's no experience associated with them. So you get no battle pass experience, you get no character experience or level experience.
Well, that's BS.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But Garbo, if you finish all of them before the next week, you get that supply drop where you get one thing out of it that's not anything that you want.
Wow.
Well, that summed it up. That's something you don't want.
Yeah. You're going to get a spray or a title or a border or an emblem.
Banner.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just like,
sad.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's cool that you can unlock most of those just by playing the game and all that stuff. But like, I was expecting weekly contracts to come in and kind of bridge that gap between daily contracts and seasonal contracts, where it's like, get X amount of damage with X amount of weapon, or, you know, down X amount of people with X amount of whatever, you know, incendiary grenades, like frag grenades, you know, whatever, to kind of drive people into doing things that they would not normally do in order to get some of the rewards for doing that. Not throw 40 smoke grenades. Like, that's something that I was kind of talking about, but like, you can just hop in a match with like Glimpse, get the pop smoke grenade, and then get the perk that allows the pop smoke grenade to come back in like 14 seconds and just spam it the entire match, and you'll get them by the end of it. Like, when you down someone with something, you physically have to do something. You have to go out of your way to make that happen, you know? So it's just, I don't know. They need to increase the challenge of the weekly contracts, in my opinion, by about 25%. And then they need to like at least up the reputation reward that you get for each challenge by 25 to 50%. Because like, if I'm completing 12 contracts or however many it is, and I'm only getting 300 per contract, yeah, you're going to get a good lump sum, but it's still not going to be enough to get one of the supply drops. So what is the point? If you got this one supply drop with the borders and stuff in it, and then you got enough reputation every week if you completed them to get an additional supply drop if you chose to spend your reputation on it, then I would be perfectly fine with that. You know, it's synergy. It just doesn't make sense. It realistically does not make any sense to me. So, quick play. So they refined quick play just a little bit here. So they're going to have those rotating game modes, 4 different rotating game modes, but I think it's very fascinating because they don't tell you what the 4 modes that are going to be rotating in game are. They don't tell you anything anymore. Like, whenever you go to quick play, you get a picture and there's no description of what the game modes are and how to play the game modes and what the objectives are. You just have a picture there. So we had some information whenever quick play was first introduced on a very generic, simple breakdown of how to play those game modes. But we decided to not stick with that and just put a picture in there. Okay. So now you get people that are coming into the game, and I've seen this happen a lot more here lately. A lot of people coming into the game because of the Walking Dead thing. None of them know how to play any of the game modes because there's no description on how to play the game modes. So they're just basically running around unintentionally feeding, is what I'm going to call it. They're just running into the enemy and dying, which for something like dodgeball and extraction is not good because you don't have an infinite amount of respawns in that game mode. So they really missed the mark with that. And then here's something that I wanted to note, and we'll come back to this here in just a second. They had a write-up here below Quick Play that says, we want to offer more modes available all the time with Quick Play. By doing this, we are moving away from 6v6 for now, so 6v6 team deathmatch is no longer available. This is the first that I've heard of this. Whenever I looked at the patch notes and saw this in there, that's the first thing that I've heard about it. I haven't seen anything posted on any of the social media sources. I haven't seen anything whatsoever about them disabling 6v6 in any capacity. The update comes out, people lose their mind because 6v6 isn't there. Like I said, we'll go into that here in just a little bit because I actually have some posts and things like that from some of the developers, but it's crazy that they buried this information in the middle of the patch notes. Like, wow, you know? All right, Canals is in development, so they took Canals out of the rotation. They're taking it back to the drawing boards, and they're going to do some type of like visual update to it, or possibly rework the map. Or it says they're going to give it some major gameplay improvements to work better for all of our game modes. So we'll see about that. Like they've done that with maps in the past, like Depot, and you know it was out for I don't know what. An update or two before they put it back in the game. And I mean, it's the same map. It just looks a little different, you know? So I don't know. We'll see what they end up doing with Canals. And then also that one skirmish map, they changed some stuff on it where they put like keypads on it with sliding doors. Can't think of what the name of it is. So they did some reworks to some of the other maps as well. They just didn't say anything about that. We're going to skip the fixer thing right now. Let's talk about the Chalk passive, quality of life improvement, where he can now roll around while he is being revived. For me personally, this doesn't change anything. I haven't even seen anybody really doing it. So I don't know why that wasn't part of his kit to begin with, you know? I don't know. I don't get it.
Like, oh, we got an idea, guys. Let's let him barrel roll while reviving. Oh, man.
Yeah. Somebody put that in the box and they drew it out that week and they're like, oh, this sounds simple. Let's make this happen, you know?
Why didn't we do that before? I don't know. So what are we going to do?
We also got an update to Battlezone. So we've played Battlezone since the updates came out, right? I know that. Have you played it, Garbo?
Battlezone? Yeah, I played some with you.
So the perk system I like a lot. Everything else is a big L in my opinion. Only having access to one gadget feels really, really bad. I know that they gave everybody access to all of the gadgets, and that's their way of balancing it, but it just doesn't feel good when you can't have at least one lethal and one non-lethal gadget. Having access to all the pistols makes sense because pistol mastery. Having access to melees doesn't feel right for Battlezone. It feels like it should be something that spawns in the box naturally if you want it. And then, of course, the primary weapons, it just doesn't feel good. Playing against people whenever you land and you're trying to spend your money on perks and stuff, and then the enemy team is already locked, stock, and ready to roll out with their fully upgraded Sahara, and they don't have to worry about looting because they can buy the weapon and they can also buy armor. They don't have to worry. They don't have to worry about looking for anything. At that point, it comes down to waiting for you to rotate into them while you're trying to loot.
Or the race to the Mythic crate for the Mythic armor.
Yeah, exactly. That was
happening a lot.
Yeah, that's the only redeeming part of the game mode is to try to get people to move to the Mythic crate. And if you're by reasoning, it makes sense that you just put the Mythic crate in every single round to force those people. If you're going to keep it this way, to force those people into actually moving around the map as opposed to dropping in, waiting for the first zone to appear, and then everybody going and covering a different entranceway into that area. It just feels bad. There's an idea.
I don't like the whole they can buy their loadout. They should be able to buy their gun. Like maybe the whole perks and everything. I like all that, but just having your gun ready to go is fucking insane.
Yeah, right.
It's like what you said, the whole upgrading your gun. Again, you can just run those two things. Just run your favorite weapon and buy body armor and just burn
legendary.
Yeah. Or run Mac, since Mac can always get his armor back, and then you just always have a problem. Yeah. Imagine him with legendary armor. And the fact that he gets armor back, shit.
Well, and that was one thing that was kind of balanced out whenever Battlezone existed before, is because Mac had his armor. The perks that he had access to before this change were kind of lackluster. And also the gadgets that he had access to were kind of lackluster. Like his passive ability is what made him something that was viable in Battlezone. But to kind of counteract that, they made his gadgets and perks less effective than some of the other rogues. But it's like, how far away from balance can we get? I feel like this is as far away from being balanced as you could possibly get. And this feels like a test, honestly, because it's like they're opening it up to access to, it's limited, but it's a lot of different weapons that you have access to. Is this possibly a test for opening up weapon mastery for all weapons across all rogues?
That's what Pretty Hair said about making the perk change. They were testing it out.
I mean,
it doesn't really last long enough to test out anything.
Yeah.
I don't know why I had so much money. I was able to buy everything I wanted, max it out.
Yeah.
I mean, where's money coming from?
They got rid of the use it or lose it aspect.
Was saving it. Okay.
Yeah. It was carrying it from round to round. Yeah. Which makes sense if you're going to have the perks laid out like this and the way that the gadgets work. It makes sense to get rid of that feature. But if they would just get rid of primary and melee weapons and allow you to have a lethal and a non-lethal gadget, I think that this would be fine for Battlezone. And that's not much of a change. You're just going to have to disable two things and then add the non-lethal gadgets into the mix. But I think that would be okay. Then they could look at other issues with Battlezone, like the fact that it's the first of 4. Like, God, you really can't get any momentum built up because of how short it is.
It's over, yeah.
Yeah.
A 5-minute game.
Exactly. And it's really, really hard to get footage for Battlezone because you have to cut 3 different gameplays of Battlezone together to even get a 10-minute long game. I mean, if that doesn't tell you something, then I don't know, And it's not like it's something fast-paced like Team Deathmatch or King of the Hill where you're constantly in the motion. That way the time feels like it goes by very quickly because it actually does. No, it feels like it goes by very quickly because there's no chance at redemption. Like if you're down 3-1 or 3-0, you might as well just jump off the map at that point, I don't know. The perk changes I personally like. What do you guys think about the perk changes?
It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I might need to chunk out body armor, but it's cool.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing. You don't mind every round going against legendary body armor, and then they run into the mythic.
Well, I just like being able to upgrade what perk I want to choose to.
Well, I mean, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that is really cool about it, but that it's just, you just see a lot of people abusing the armor. Like that's what it is when you see Battlezone. And the fact that you don't really have to go to a crate to get a gun. Because again, you can just pick your favorite
Oh, I
gun.
bought my gun every time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't even
Like,
look for a gun.
you
I
don't
just
have
shot
to.
the first
Right,
person I saw
you're I
that was
mean,
looking for a gun.
that was the whole point of Battlezone. Like that was the whole point of them dropping the crates. Like you drop the crates, you're going for the guns and the body armor. And now you can do those two things. You know what I mean? So like there's just no point in having crates unless you're racing for the mythic one. Because you can't upgrade to that one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what Battlezone's become, kind of like this. When the mythic crates come out, that's how I saw it when I played those couple of games with you. Like almost every time we got in mythic, run to the crate, grab that chest, and then just blow everybody else away.
Yeah.
You don't have to search anymore. So I mean, I like the perks themselves, but yeah, I just don't like the whole how the game mode has become. Again, it's more like a race.
Yeah. No, I get that. As far as the perk system, it's like if they wanted to bring this into like demolition or strikeout or something like that, I think that it could work, but they're really going to have to set specific limitations on the perks that you're able to upgrade in order to make it something that is a little bit more balanced than it currently is for Battlezone specifically. Like, you're going to have to lock everybody out. You can only have X amount of this level perk, X amount of this level perk, X amount of this level perk. And then also something that I noticed in Battlezone is like, if you buy armor, I think it's like 8,000 to buy armor base to be able to have access to it. To upgrade it, it's only 3,000 per upgrade. Like, no. You need to have it 8,000 to unlock it. Then the next upgrade needs to be 10,000 and the next upgrade needs to be 12,000. Like, they need to increase the cost of the perks. Yeah.
I like that. That would be cool. Make it not so.
Was cheap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It don't take long at all to like get the things that you need. Life drain, armor, and
your
like
favorite gun.
Yeah, tracker rounds, like replenish.
Yeah,
you're ready to roll.
Tracker rounds.
Yeah,
man, I love tracker rounds, dude. Love it.
So I think that it would work. I think the perk system would work very, very well if they opened it up like this. But they don't need to have every single perk. Every character have access to every single perk. They need to take the pre-existing perks that they have. They need to just add upgrade tiers to them and increase the effectiveness of them. And then they need to increase the upgrade cost per. If you're not going to increase it, you need to at least make it the same amount as the initial purchase. And then they need to put like padded steps, because on this picture, padded steps isn't a perk that you can get in Battlezone anymore. They need to put padded steps at like a mythic level in the rest of the game and not have it upgradable and make it like a $15,000 to $20,000 perk. Since you could go in there and you could like tweak the perk where you could make it upgradable to do what it does when you fully max it out. But so few rogues have access to it now that it would make sense to either get rid of the perk or make it a mythic perk and make it to where it costs so much to get that not a lot of people are going to prioritize that perk over other perks. We finally got away from padded step meta, like Jesus, thank God, They also did a lot of bug changes and things like that. They have known issues here where purchase completion screen fails to appear on purchasing any of the Walking Dead bundles from the store. So people were trying to buy Walking Dead bundles, but they weren't getting them for some reason. Walking Dead pistol mythic skins have audio misconfigured, will be adjusted in the next hotfix. All that good stuff. And then here it says the weekly contract of earn downs in 3 matches with primary, secondary, gadget, and ability fails to get tracked on using Molotov with Scorch. That is so oddly specific. You know what I mean? It's like, what? Let's talk about the Big Daddy change here. I got some actual footage of this thing. I'm going to play it in the background while we're talking about it here. But Fixer got a full rework. He no longer has shrapnel rounds. They took that away from him and they gave him what is it, Full Metal Jacket?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they gave that to him. So now he completely ignores armor, just all out ignores armor. So if you're going up against a anvil that's got legendary armor, it doesn't matter. You're hitting him and going to down him just as quickly. They also adjusted his primary ability to where whenever you use the ability, it gives extra damage for hitting the white hot spots, which is the head, basically, of the rogues that you're shooting at. He also has access to Crackshot and Gunsmith. And this was something that we talked about in the last episode. It's like, how broken is it going to make something like the Devotion or something like the Mamba or the D3DI, which you could test it out and it wasn't as bad as some of these other weapons. It makes the Devotion a one-tap to any rogue, regardless of toughness, at any range whenever you're using his ability and you have Crackshot. And he can one-tap people with the Mamba at around 10 to 15 meters, and he can two-tap every other rogue at any range after that. This is bad. We talked about this last time, like on the last episode, but this is not good. Like, this is not properly balanced. And I mean, it feels really good to play with this stuff because you're able to just like completely destroy people whenever you're using the ability. You also have access to Legendary Energize. I forgot to mention that. So you can more or less pop Fixer's ability every 33 seconds. So when you're playing like Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, Strikeout, and you're running around with like the Mamba, the MXR, Bishop, anything like that has a very, very consistent damage output that fires very quickly, you are just running all over the team.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's so much of an issue that people are talking about it on Reddit. And I actually have a snippet here from where Hi-Res Mini, the community manager, actually responded to someone about the fixer change. This is what she had to say about it. We know that this is extremely strong and feels a bit jarring right now. These changes were intentional and are designed to lean into what Fixer is best at. We'll be monitoring it and we'll make adjustments in a balance update if needed. And then Neon Arrow here said, thanks for the response. Might I suggest that the Crackshot perk is either removed or brought down into the blue tier on Fixer? The ability damage on its own isn't too strong. Same thing for the Crackshot perk on its own, but when you combine and stack both things is when things get out of hand. And then she responded and said, the idea would be removing the perk. Yes. We'll keep an eye on it though. We know this combo is very strong.
Why'd you do it?
Well, my question other than that is like trying to lean into what Fixer is best at. What does that mean? I'm assuming that they're taking his personality and how he was introduced into the game as being like this crack shot sniper and applying that same idea of doing that much damage to DMRs to lean more into what he's best at. I don't understand that. You know what all the rogues are best at? They're best at downing people in team deathmatch. So why not make every bullet in the game do 100 damage and make everybody one-shot everybody? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand it. And like the one thing to combat against sniper rifles in the game, other than their supposed flinch that they added in there, was mythic armor, or not mythic armor, but legendary armor. You couldn't down a trench or a anvil with a headshot unless you had crack shot, or now you can do it with Fixer because he bypasses their armor. Yeah.
Yep. Straight ignores them.
So like, if armor's the problem, you're the one that created the problem. I don't see a lot of people complaining as much about the armor anymore since it's non-repairable. So in my perspective, there's not really a problem with armor. You just kind of have to chisel away at that armor whenever you can by taking pop shots. Like there's no problems in the game that they fixed with making these changes. If anything, they created more problems.
They made Fixer the best sniper.
They made Fixer the best character in the game. Yeah, if you're accurate. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he ignores armor. His fucking crack shots fucking crack.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I mean, I don't like Full Metal Jacket anyway. I don't think he needs to have that either. So, I mean, it's a cool passive, but
I think
we don't need a counter for armor anymore.
Well, I think it's a cool passive, but I think that it's wasted on Fixer. I think it would have been a really cool passive if they would have introduced another character in the game. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that they put a lot of time into something that would have been easily added into the idea and like the mythology of another character, as opposed to, oh, Fixer's really good at shooting people in the face, so we're going to make him even better at shooting people in the face because we're going to give him added bullet damage when he shoots people in the face when he's got his ability popped. It's like, what is this logic behind this change?
They gave him crack shot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So now he don't even have to buy it. He just already has crack shot.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And like Dirt Lord said, why? Why did they even think to add this into the game to begin with? Their logic and reasoning behind it was, well, we want to make Fixer's ability useful even when there's no smoke present on the playing field.
Wow.
Well, it's already
useful. That's already powerful.
Yeah.
That automatically helps you get to bomb sites like so fast, or to get out of situations. I mean, come on, man.
Well, even if there's not a smoke grenade in play, you can still pop the ability and you can still see the heat signatures of people behind cover.
Yeah.
So you're
it's like you're revealing your own intel.
Yes. You're basically getting wall hacks for free. Like that. I don't know, man. It's such a very polarizing change that it honestly doesn't make any sense. And like, we've played against a couple of Fixers that have used this. Most people, when they play Fixer, goes directly to the tier. And it's kind of the same thing that happened with Phantom. And Phantom's passive ability is really strong. Where Phantom's passive ability really shines is whenever you're using it with an assault rifle, and you can accurately close that gap whenever you get those initial shots on her. Most people pick Phantom and they pick the sniper rifle because she's associated with the sniper rifle. Same thing with Fixer. Most people pick Fixer because he's so closely associated with the tier. Most people run the tier. It feels like they're trying to let people know, hey, they have access to these other weapons and they can be really good with these other weapons. And then I want to be like, well, send them a link to the Flank and Fixer video that I made, because Jesus Christ, like he is absolutely good with this other stuff. You don't have to convince the population in the community that he is good with this other stuff. People will find it. It's crazy.
They just like messing with Fixer, man.
Yeah.
He's ever since he's been released, they've done nothing but fix him. He's broke. Got to fix his gun. It's broke. Back to him. Okay, they just can't get off of Fixer, man.
Yeah. How many times have they disabled the tier or Fixer from the game completely?
More than a couple times.
Yeah. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's nutty, dude. And then they're going to do a whole thing like, hey, we're just going to kind of like rework him in a way.
Yeah. That this ability is broken when you have crack shot and you pop the ability and you can do 60 damage with one bullet headshot with the warrant at 10 meters.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is insane.
That's ridiculous. That's wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Now imagine running the revolver. Good Lord.
I'm pretty sure that the revolver, whenever you do all of it at close range, like 10 to 15 meters, it was in that It was in that video. No, it doesn't one-shot them, but it gets them to like 5 HP. Might as well be one shot at that point, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Man, a little devotion build with him, with a crack shot and that. God.
Yeah. You're not safe.
God. And ignoring armor? Oh, God.
Yeah, right.
Just makes armor characters useless.
Yeah. So the Walking Dead update, in my opinion, and we'll get into this here in just a little bit, but the Walking Dead update, in my opinion, with all the issues, and we'll go into even more of the issues here in just a second, but with all of its issues, with its kind of lackluster collaboration that they did because of the price of everything factored into it, this plus the Formal Affair update that we just had has been probably the worst 2 update cycles that we've had for the game so far that's supposed to be out of beta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really bad. Really bad. So next up here, we have a post. This was on October the 18th. This dives right back into what we were talking about earlier about the 6v6 TDM stuff. There was a post here that says, "Hey Rogues, thanks for all the feedback around 6v6 team deathmatch today. This queue has now been turned back on." So I think that it came out, this tweet came out the same day the update went live. And then they also responded to the tweet and said, "Apologies and thanks again for all of your patience today. There appears to be an issue with the 6v6 team deathmatch. The team is planning to tackle this as quickly as possible, but it will be tomorrow ET." So going back to what they originally posted in the patch notes, they wanted to disable 6v6 and move away from that. From a developer standpoint, it makes sense why they would want to do that. Switch can't run it. It's harder to balance 6v6 as opposed to 4v4. The game wasn't built around 6v6. It was built around 4v4. Like, logistically, it makes total sense why they did this. I don't like 6v6. Like, it's not a great game mode in my opinion, because you either get stuck with people that are new to the game or you go against demons, a full 6 stack of demons. You know what I mean? It's just not a pleasant experience whatsoever. But I do understand that there's a lot of people out there that they primarily play team deathmatch. And I get that. If that's what they want to play, then I understand a lot of the frustrations that came from the community whenever this change happened. But there was no preparing the community for this change ahead of time. That's where it fell flat. That's where they fell on their face with this, because they did not warn the community. They did not express to everyone that, like, look, we're going to disable 6v6 for a little while. We can't balance it properly. It feels very unbalanced whenever you play it. We want people to experience quick play in some of the other game modes. So we'll be monitoring feedback. We'll also be seeing the play rate of the other game modes to see what works and what doesn't. And if there's enough of a demand, we'll consider turning 6v6 back on in the future. They didn't do that. And then the community flipped out whenever they disabled it. Rightfully so. Now they cut 6v6 back on. 6v6 for me is still bugged. I can't queue into 6v6 if I don't have 4 players. If I have more than 4 players, it will not allow me to queue into that mode. So it's obviously not fixed yet. But they dropped the ball on this all the way around. You know, they should have announced something. They should have let everybody know when they did the update show for the Walking Dead update that they wanted to disable 6v6, but they didn't do that. They really dropped the ball on that one.
Not high res.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it would probably be better for the game in the long run to disable it. I understand why they would want to. But you can't just, it's like, imagine if we logged on after an update and demolition was just gone. You know what I mean? Like, demolition just did not exist whatsoever. No rank demo, no casual demo, no nothing. It was just gone. And then we have to dig through a Reddit post. It's like, oh yeah, we turned that off because we want to get away from like the single life tactical shooter that we built the game around.
was an accident.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But we're leaving it off.
Yeah, right. We're sorry, So it sucks
Quick play it is.
Yeah, right. Well, and it sucks for those people that was like Walking Dead events coming out, dude. I'm so excited. I've got my $150 worth of Rogue Bucks on my account. I'm ready to jump in. Oh wait, Team Deathmatch isn't there. Fuck, like
I bought all the skins.
Yeah, right. So next up here we have another post from the developers here on Twitter. And we've also got a little bit of video footage that comes along with this. Hey, Rogue Company. And it's weird that they're addressing themselves in this Twitter post. It should say, Hey, Rogues, but it says, Hey, Rogue Company, like they're tweeting to themselves. Anyway, thanks. Thanks so much for your reports about Living Doll Dahlia. At this time, we've disabled the skin and have a fix in process. We'll make this available as soon as possible. So I found a video on Twitter and I downloaded it, and it is not the greatest quality, but I've got it here. And this is just an idea of what was happening with the skin. So if you guys want to check it out together and comment on it, it's only 30 seconds long. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, these people are just lighting this chick
creepy.
up. Yeah. But they're lighting her up and they're not doing any damage to her whatsoever. 0 damages. They're shooting her in the head. They're shooting her in the feet. Apparently, there's only one place that you can shoot the character whenever they have the skin on, and it is in the waist, from what I understand. And it's funny that the person doing the video didn't shoot him in the waist to show.
Yeah, they did. One time.
Yeah.
They shot one bullet in the waist. Oh,
yeah.
My God.
So what it looks like to me, and like I'm no game developer, I know what I know, but it looks like to me that when they put the skin in the game, that the hitbox that's supposed to be around the character was like squished into the middle of the
skin.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It's like, oh, wait a minute. The skin is actually larger than the character model. What are we going to do? It's like, nah, we'll figure it out. Release the skin.
Oh, release the skin.
Yeah.
Release it, let them buy it, then we'll disable it.
Yeah.
Which is what they did.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy because people bought this. Like, you can't purchase the skin any longer. It's not in there. Yeah, it's not in the store. It's not even on Dahlia's skin page when you go to her character to look for her skins. Because I went on there to see if it was even named on there, and I didn't see it whatsoever. So, like, they fully wiped it out of the game for the time being.
I was supposed for the time being. That's what I was going to ask. So, what about all the people that already purchased it?
They're supposed to fix it and then add it back into the game, of course. But like, exactly when. And like, are you going to compensate any of the people that actually bought the skin day one that wanted to run the skin and use it? Or are you just going to go in there and be like, yeah, we screwed up. Here's 20,000 battle pass experience and a supply drop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so they can get a skin they don't want.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. It's crazy that they released the skin, and allegedly, I don't know if this is true or not. I saw some reports about it. There's some people that were talking about it on Twitter. Allegedly, the Rick Dallas skin also had the same issue, but they were somehow able to hotfix that one to where it worked the way that it was supposed to, and they couldn't hotfix this skin.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
already queued.
Yeah.
It's like they're getting worse and worse at developing their game.
I wonder if they got hit with something. Like, I mean, this skin is not something that is licensed, but it's close enough to something that already exists that someone could probably pursue legal precedents if they really wanted to. So what if, and I don't know this for certain, I don't know anything about this, I'm just like spitballing here, but what if they were like, look, you have to get rid of the skin, and they're like, okay, we'll make the hitbox for the skin not existent.
Hang on, dude, I got to get my tinfoil hat.
Yeah. You know? I'm just saying, dude. Stranger things have happened.
A rogue company conspiracy over here.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's all speculation, baby, you know? But I mean, hey, crazier things have happened.
I wouldn't put it past them. I mean,
I know crazier things have
how
happened.
can we get rid of it without being like, yo, we ripped somebody? Because that was one of the big things about putting artwork in the game.
Yeah. Oh, big
It's
time.
really hard to put artwork in the game because copyrights and
Yeah. I mean, like Party City saw this and they would contact them. They're like, we sell this same exact mask. You know what I mean? Like something crazy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So last up here, before we get into the community section, we have a post here by the community manager herself, Mini White Rabbit. So these are the patch day update. It's a thread of known issues. Living Doll Dahlia has been disabled. We have a fix for the issue and are planning when to hot fix it. So there's been a lot of issues that they've talked about that they have a workaround for them. Living Doll Dahlia seems to be one of them, but they have to get approval from, of course, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo as to when they can push the patch out to everybody. So they're not going to patch it on PC for whatever reason. They're going to wait until they can patch everybody at one time. It is what it is. You know, it's just one of those things. Also, abilities not regening in ranked. We are looking into this, not intentional. Did have this issue when we were playing custom matches with Seeker specifically. Once you shoot the bow, it doesn't regenerate. You are just dead in the water at that point with his ability. And then I've received a report about the 6-point win, 24-point loss bug being back in ranked. Please let me know if you're consistently running into this issue with your in-game name and platform. I've seen a lot of people talking about the ranked bug, and this is kind of hilarious if you think about it. They released Formal Affair update. There's a bug with the surrender option where people can exploit the game. They disabled ranked. Then they planned to bring ranked back into it, wipe everybody's stats so that they had to redo their ranked placement matches, screwed that up, wiped everybody's stats while they were playing ranked. Then now there's a bug in the game for ranked where you're losing like 4 times more points than you're gaining. Whoa. Oof. Good luck getting a rogue. Again. Yeah. Good luck getting a rogue this season, you know, if you've never been there, you know, so that's crazy. Like it's crazy that these still exist. Like ranked is already like one of the least played queues. I wonder why. Like you have something in ranked to gain or lose. You play as hard as you can in those modes. You expect your team and the people that you queue with, like the randoms specifically, to perform to a certain level. And despite all of that, despite the matchmaking, despite the servers, there's a exploit in the game where you can cause a surrender bug. And then you're losing 4 times more points than you're gaining. Like, no wonder people don't want to queue ranked. They don't want the stress. And then on top of all of that, you lose 4 games worth of rank points whenever you take a loss. Like, that's a fucking insane.
Despite all your rage, dude, you just lose the ranked points, you know?
Exactly, right? I mean, this is insanity. It's crazy.
There's like 50 days left.
Yeah, right. Yeah. By the time they get all this rank stuff figured out, the season's going to be over. It's going to be like there was one update that came out last year where this bug was happening, where you were losing way more than you were gaining. They couldn't fix it. They couldn't figure out what was going on the entire season. It wouldn't surprise me if they can't fix it the rest of this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Well, it could carry over.
Oh my God. If this bug carries over, or if an exploit like the surrender bug comes in, ranked is going to be dead in the water. People are going to refuse to queue into ranked because of the experiences that they've had in the past. It's going to be just flatline 0, you know?
How many times have they not fixed bugs, though? That's the thing.
Exactly, right.
We've had a few bugs carry over from fucking patch to patch.
Yeah, right. So it's fucking nuts, dude. It is absolutely insane.
I'm just waiting for that fucking Canon audio bug to come back.
Oh yeah.
There's some bug with the light machine guns where that happens.
Where it just keeps
Awesome.
shooting.
Yeah, I've experienced that recently. But at least it'll fire until it runs out of bullets. But if you have Gunsmith Anvil with the Maul, you've got 108 bullets you have to listen to go out of that thing. You know what I mean? Like by the time the round's over, it's still firing. It's just like we're not giving up.
It's going.
Yeah. So might as well be the cannon bug at that point, you know? All right, guys, this is the community section of the Unofficial Rogue Company Podcast. If you want to contribute in any way, you can hit us up on Twitter at BROGUECAST. You can shoot us an email, broguecast@gmail.com, or you can join the Discord. A link to the Discord will be in the description down below. There is a place in the Discord called Broadcast Contributions. So if you want to get in contact with us, those are the places to do so. But first up here, we have a post on Reddit by Scuzzy. Scuzzy always leaves fantastic comments on the videos, and I think that this is a fantastic addition to the broadcast and also to the game. And this is something that we've talked about. Proposition, loading screen showing the game mode. Just a little idea to show us the game mode during the loading screen. It will be a very nice quality of life improvement, even more now that quick play playlist is a thing. What do you think? How can it be improved? So if we blow one of these up, it shows Glacier, of course. It says in the top left-hand corner, Destination Glacier, Arctic Circle, and then it's got Demolition and what the description for the game mode actually is. I mean, this is something that, you know, we've talked about quite a bit here. I've talked about in a couple of videos myself. How many times have we been like getting ready to drop in and it's like, what game mode was this again? Like, are we doing dodgeball? Is this team deathmatch? Like, are we playing extraction right now? And then like once you get into the game, you're like, okay, I'm respawning. So obviously, you know, there's no point. This is team deathmatch. So
it's been most of the times.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So
yeah, it's more often than not that we get into the plane and we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Or now if you get queued in the skirmish maps, you don't even get into the plane. You're just standing at the back of the map, just looking around. So, you know, it is what it is. But I think that this would be a huge help, especially for new players, especially for people that like walk away while they're loading into a match or whenever they're queuing. That way they can see exactly what is going on after they pick their character to see where they're going, see what they're going to be playing and what they need to do in the match. And I think what Scuzzy's got going on here is in the right direction, but I do feel like there needs to be gigantic photos attached to this that shows like, here is the bomb.
Examples.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's two sides. You need to plant the bomb. Yeah, exactly. So like
if your team wants to go to A, you should probably go with them.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah, communication is key, you know. So I think that would be great. And it would also, like in game modes that swap sides or it swaps objectives, like demolition specifically. When you're going from attacking to defending, since we no longer have the ability to swap rogues in the middle, it would be nice if there was a splash page that came up there as well that said, defending, this is what you need to do to in this section of the match or whatever. That way that people that have never played it before kind of have a good idea of what's going on and what's happening. And if you don't want to include this in all of the game modes, that's understandable, especially if you're just queuing for demolition or for strikeout. But at least put it in quick play and at least put it in the bot versions of the game modes, the practice versions of the game modes. Because like, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not 100% certain, maybe you don't have to. And if you don't, you should have to play X amount of like practice modes before you go into the real modes. You know what I mean? That's supposed to be there like fixed to it, but you have different game modes and quick play. So you know what I mean? Like they could make this a little bit more seamless in my opinion, you know? But I like what Scuzzy's doing here. It's always good to see Scuzzy pop up, you know? Next up, we have a post here by Niffian. What happened to this game? Last year, I started playing Rogue for a short time. I got 900 kills within my 22-hour playtime back then. Yesterday, I returned after looking for something else than Apex or Overwatch, and I feel like I'm not causing any damage in this game anymore. I have stutter lag, and the game itself feels different. Since I've been away for so long, I have no idea what got changed, any info, any news or updates on issues with the game. I'm on PS4 with a wired connection. I don't have such issues with other games, and I'm a bit disappointed because the game used to be a lot of fun. So there has been one thing that I've noticed. This post was 2 days ago, so this was posted on October the 20th. That was after the update came out. I have noticed in the update that there have been some weird instances where you're shooting people, you're not getting hit markers, you're always getting shot behind cover. It doesn't matter what update that is. And various things like that, like the bug that Garbo had earlier. Jesus.
Oh, dude. Just walk. I couldn't do anything but walk around and revive people and swing my weapon, my melee weapon. That was it. I couldn't shoot. I couldn't run.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you could just walk around and punch people, and that was it.
So you had this.
He could revive too. That was during a TDM too, so he was just dying.
Yeah.
I was a dummy. That's what I was. I was a target.
Well, once you got the Claymore, you were getting some kills.
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah.
Well, there's that.
Once I figured out that my D-pad was working for melees, I was like, oh yeah.
Weird, because he was just walking around with his gun lowered the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very odd. And like, that's kind of a big deal on a shooter game where you can't shoot the gun. You know what I mean? Like,
you can't shoot her.
Yeah. And I've had a lot more issues where like rolling or throwing something and coming out of it and immediately ADSing and shooting. I'm just looking at them through the scope or through down the barrel. Like I'm not shooting anybody. I have to stop, or I have to like un-ADS and then re-ADS in order to be able to, like, it shouldn't happen. That should not be a thing.
Yeah. Shouldn't have to fix my key bindings again either. I don't know what happened there, but
exactly right. Like
that just what?
It reset like half of the key bindings.
Yeah, it wasn't all.
Yeah.
Just some, the important ones.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the ones that you need, It's like, what in the world is happening right now? So next up, we have a post here by Density. Didn't know Density was on Reddit, but thanks for keeping us afloat. Please, Hi-Res, fix this game-breaking bug. Sometimes whenever I join a game, I'm unable to shoot, run, scope my weapon in, do literally anything other than move. This has been a bug for literal months. Who else experiences this too? I can't stand joining a game and this happening one in every few matches. And then down here it says, I've been getting this bug a lot. The trick I found that helps is pulling up the loadout menu after selecting your character and leaving that screen up until the timer runs out on rogue selection. I wish it was fixed already, but that's the workaround for now. How the fuck did you figure this out?
Yeah.
Wow.
What a trooper. He just kept playing. He's like, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Nuts, dude.
Right here, I call it the 0 bug because you can't do anything 9 times out of 10, end up with a 0 score. That's funny. And then Ollie Gamer come in. For some reason, it still lets me quick melee punch, so you best believe I'm contributing in any way that I can.
Yeah, see, that was it. That was what I was
at. And that's exactly what Garbo experienced.
Yep. You can revive.
You can revive too.
Yep.
That's insanity.
It's a shooter, dude.
Yes.
Oh no, how it is.
Dude, or if you're a new player.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
you go there, you have no idea it's a bug because this game's been out for a while.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a full release.
Yeah.
Long enough.
It's got a partnership with Walking Dead,
Yeah, right.
Final season.
Yeah.
And you can't shoot your gun. And you're like, fuck this game.
Yeah. How do I unlock?
Stupid.
Yeah. How do I unlock the ability to use my guns?
Yeah. You got everybody on your team yelling at you, and you're like, it don't work. Like,
Yeah.
They're like, you're a fucking idiot, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I don't know what the quality of life, or not the quality of life. I don't know what the QA department over at First Watch Games actually looks for when they're doing quality tests on updates. But you would think, okay, this is just me from my perspective. If I'm in QA and I'm employed by First Watch Games, then I'm going to have a spreadsheet of everything, right? Every character, every skin, every weapon. And I'm going to make sure that every weapon works. Every weapon does the right amount of damage. Every skin has a correct hitbox. I'm going to check all this basic ass shit every single time before an update goes live. Because with programming and things like that, you make one little mistake and it's going to throw a wrench in the entire works. And I know it's not something that's easy. I know that it's not something that you can just go in there and easily discover what is causing this issue to happen. That's what your quality department is there for. And since you try to have the players be part of this quality department by having a PTS cycle that literally nobody plays because there's not enough of a player base in that, then a lot of this stuff just leaks through into updates. And then people that have no idea what's going on, have no presence on Twitter, no presence on Reddit, no presence on Facebook, just log on one day and 6v6 is gone. They can't shoot. They can't do anything other than use melee weapons. They can't defuse bombs. They can't use abilities. Like, could you imagine your normal average player? Like, let's say that you're somebody that is just working all the time, 12 hours a day, not a lot of time for social media, things like that. You come home, you want to play a round or two of TDM or demolition, whatever. Yeah. You log in. Oh, this Dahlia skin looks really, really cool. You know what I'm saying?
Where'd my skin go?
Exactly.
I bought the skin. It's not here anymore. There's nothing in the game that even tells you.
No, nothing.
Like when you try to go there. Yeah, that should tell them, right?
Yeah.
Where'd the skin
tell them.
Yeah.
I think they should refund it, all of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Give their money back.
Yeah.
And the skin.
That ain't gonna happen, dude.
No.
It just ain't gonna happen.
I would be perfectly fine myself if they were like, look, we're sorry, the skin was bugged. Anybody that purchased it, we're going to do full refund, but it's fixed now. We're going to put it in the store. It's good to go.
Yeah.
It's good to go. Like, you can purchase it if you want it, but if you purchased it before we pulled it down, you're going to get a full refund on it. Do that. At least there's some good faith that you're building with somebody.
Yeah.
And I would be very happy and very proud if they did that. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
And even, dude, if you bought it day one, it's refunded, and guess what? When we fix it, it's yours.
Exactly.
Not all the people after.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you're just, working the system, but...
Yeah. But I couldn't imagine being that player and logging on. You know what I mean? It's better for you to try to log into the game and the servers be down than logging onto the game and not be able to do anything. You know?
Quality department. Maybe that's why they're hiring more people.
I mean, if there was
quite a bit of people they're trying to hire, right?
If there was a job opening to work in the quality department for First Watch Games, I would be the first person to sign up for it, to be like, look, send me every experimental build that you have for this, and I will test literally everything. Like it's my job.
With it, we're not shipping it.
Exactly.
This can't go out.
Yeah.
You're losing money.
Yes. Yeah. Losing money. They were selling that skin in the store. They pulled it out of the store. They're not making money off of that. They were guaranteed going to make way more money off of that Dahlia skin than any of the Walking Dead skins and the Umber skin that they released. Like, guaranteed money. They had
if I bought that and that happened to me, I'm not buying any skins for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to see what happens. Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah, man, it's bad. It's bad. All right, we got a post here by Walking Tree 7. Decided to come back to the game after a long hiatus. Not a good experience for me. I played mostly before the big changes that introduced the weapon mastery system that allows every character to choose among each weapon of the same category as the default. I'm not sure, but maybe crossplay wasn't a thing at the time. Anyways, queue times seems to have gotten longer, even for quick play. I'm a low tier player. About 50 to 70% of games are completely one-sided, to the point that the winning team manages to win thanks to the MVP, even when one or two of their teammates are AFK or disconnected. Lots of levers which may be disconnected, players disconnected, AFK which may be disconnected, and usernames similar to testing please do not disturb that appear to behave like utter trolls running to the edge of the map and doing nothing but rub themselves against it. But I guess those are from people testing bots or something. Lots of offensive usernames in all sorts of languages. Lots of enemies seem to win the shooting trade in close and medium quarters, even if I start shooting and hitting them first and I don't miss, which leaves me wondering if they have aim assist or are much better players somehow matched up against me, or somehow they always manage to get headshots. Unfortunately, there's no post-death recap of where you got it and what damage dealt, or if there are unlockable weapons that are objectively that much better, or if I'm an utter noob paired versus average players. 90% of players at my level won't revive a teammate even if there's no threat around, and will instead charge into battle alone and die like a fool. 99% of players on deployment won't care that a player didn't deploy, probably disconnected or AFK, or that the other not cares have split in the other direction and just rush into battle alone and die rather than waiting a few seconds for everyone to catch up. Is it always such a miserable experience? So I think that this is a testament and kind of a peek into this person's experience playing this, absolutely, because like they came back after a very long hiatus. They hop into games. They see all this happen. They see it enough to where they go to the Reddit page and actually do a pretty decent sized write up on it. Guaranteed that they uninstalled the game and they'll probably never come back to it at that point. This is
What's
why
that one guy's Twitter, man? No team, no win.
Yeah, no team, no win.
No team, no win, dude.
Yeah, right.
Find some friends to play this game with.
Yeah, for real, right?
It helps.
Yeah. It's one of those situations where like this is a huge issue across multiple different culprits, right? It's the matchmaking issue. It's the issue with like people not having any penalties for leaving games, not having any penalties for going AFK, anything like that. Latency issues, being queued into regions that you're not queuing into. Like it's just a multitude of problems that this person is experiencing, and apparently experienced enough in quick enough succession that they wanted to come and write this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a paying customer that you just lost. Like, I guarantee you that this person is not coming back to the game. And if they do, maybe next year. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe next year. This was posted 6 days ago, which was what, the 18th? No. So this was right before the Walking Dead collab. So I'm assuming that this is a person that was, that was a fan of the Walking Dead that was like, oh, they're doing this collaboration event.
Oh yeah.
Let me hop back in and see what it's like. I played it a little bit before, had an okay experience. Let me try it out. And if I like it, then I'm going to spend some money on the Walking Dead skins. This was their experience.
Or he hopped on and bought it and then was like, fuck.
Yeah, right. I just spent $100. You know what I'm saying? Like, or at least spent $45 to get three of the skins.
That price is just a smack in the face, man.
It really is, right?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So it sucks that this person is experiencing this. And it sucks that Walking Trees 7 is not going to be playing the game anymore. It's an unfortunate situation. It's just not good at all. All right, last up here, we have a post here by Open Morning 8044. Do the developers see what's happening? This game is in an awful state. Crossplay has not helped the queue times. It takes even longer to get into a game, and there's at least one disconnected game. Hi-Rez needs to just sell this game or end this crap product they are putting out. Bugs from the beta days are still here, and they left the beta phase without fixing them. What the fuck kind of decision making is that? Update shows are just pasty white men giving us bullshit on bullshit without any improvements in the game. I think that Open Morning has a very good point here. I really do. I think that he has this individual has a very good point here, because there are bugs that have existed pre-release. Yeah. The queue times for me, not that bad. Like the longest it takes to get into a match is maybe 3 minutes. But the disconnections, the levers, that's absolutely a problem. It's just a huge melting pot of issues at this point. And then you have 2 releases back to back with the Formal Affair update and then also the Walking Dead update that were just both very bad. They're just very bad updates. They brought in so many weird game breaking bugs. There was so many inconsistencies. They had to disable skins. They had to disable ranked. They had to wipe ranked completely. Yeah, like it's just bad. It's just a bad situation all the way around. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Formal Affair update also have the issue where people were buying your battle pass and you weren't getting the battle pass? Like, what is happening over there? All I know,
bugs.
Yeah, right. All I know is that by the time that this Formal Affair season is over, it's going to be very close, if not at Christmas time, right? And to me, like, this is what's going to happen. This has happened in the past. If they push out an update around Christmas, it's going to be around the holiday season, like close enough to those days where if it gets released, they're either A, not going to have enough manpower, or B, not even be at work to fix any of the issues, which is going to cause the game to not get any updates or any fixes for a couple of days around this time period. They need to prolong this season a little bit. They need
to go past the year.
Exactly.
Because we're talking first week of December. That's when this is finished.
Yeah.
Just push it.
With all the issues that you've had, push it until January the 1st and make the first update of 2023 your bug fix update. It needs to be
Project Saint.
Yes. It needs to be fixing bugs. It needs to be optimizing your game to where it's easily playable and easily accessible, regardless of hardware restrictions all across the board. Possibly look at upgrading your servers during this time point. Like, there's so many things that need to be done. Look at introducing a new matchmaking system or coming up with a new matchmaking system that makes sense for this game. Like, they have to do something or they're going to hemorrhage players even more than they already have. At any given point that I go on Twitch, the average watchers of Rogue Company content is around 400. That's not good.
Which is about half of what it was.
Yes. About 6 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rogue Company is such a unique game compared to everything else that's out. It has absolutely lost its way. 100%. They need to get this train back on the tracks and they need to optimize it and decide the type of game that they want to be. They need to knuckle down and focus on what that is, and they need to quit releasing less than stellar content to the people that play the game. It's driving people away in a big way.
Has been for a while now.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is really sad.
It's slowly but surely, update after update, you have more and more people that's like, I'm done with this game. I'm done.
We know people that only play when we play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the only reason that they play when we play is because they want to play with us.
Exactly. Because they'll play other games with us too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, if somebody does not get a grip on the situation here, it's going to get out of hand. And it's almost gotten to that point. I would say we're at that tipping point right now. We're absolutely at that tipping point right now. It doesn't matter the collabs that you have. It doesn't matter the content that you're bringing into the game. If the game that you have is broken and has been in a broken state since beta.
Beta bugs.
Yes.
Beta.
I would really like to see them do the Operation Saint fix, the Operation Saint update, where they're going to go in and they're going to do everything that they need to do with the game. Don't worry about content. I mean, look at the amount of people that came back to your game because of the collab that you were working on, and that are never going to return to your game because of the miserable experience that they're having within the game.
Yep.
I couldn't imagine being a new player and downloading this game right now and hopping in.
No, dude. Especially if you don't have anyone else to play with.
Yeah.
You're done. You play
Yeah.
one day and you're done.
Yes. It's just a miserable experience. And we've been playing it for over 2 years, and there are a lot of times, more so now than there has been, where it's a miserable experience. So, I mean, something has got to give. This is the tipping point. This is where decisions need to be made. And you better make them very quickly.
Yeah. Or the game is going to die.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's crazy
I feel like it's already on oxygen at this point.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we're the band playing
Yeah.
as the ship's going down. Dude, all of the other, they've all jumped.
Yeah.
We used to get the fireside chats, like anybody that's ever tried to do some kind of outreach and have a thing, it doesn't last long.
No.
Then they jump ship.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because all of those avenues of outreach that they've tried in the past, it's always the same consistent questions that get brought up. Why are the servers in the state they are? Why does matchmaking work the way that it works? Why am I getting shot behind cover? Why am I running into invisible things? Why is the tripwire, the barbed wire from trench getting destroyed when I throw it? Like, it's the same thing every time that they try to reach out to people, but there's no answers to any of this. Oh, send us footage. Oh, send us your match IDs and your player ID so that we can look into that. Well, goddamn, how many times do I need to send it before you fix it?
How many seasons has that tripwire been in? How
Every
many?
one of them?
Almost, I was about to say since the beginning.
Yeah.
Woo! 2, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
It's too long, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those problems are what keep a lot of those bigger streamers away from the game and stuff too.
Yeah.
Though,
I can see
like
it.
you don't see a lot of people playing the game that's got any type of following really.
Not
like when
unless
it
they're
comes
being
to the
paid.
bigger streamers. No,
Yeah.
Doc
That's
did
it.
it because they paid him to.
Yeah.
And then he was done with the game.
Yeah.
That to be fair, it's changed a lot since then, but not for the better necessarily.
No, not at all.
So why would anyone who's getting 15,000 viewers concurrently gonna play this game?
Yeah.
Give me a reason.
And it's not
Because I
worth
guarantee
worth
you
it to
could have a
everybody.
good time with someone like Tim and 3 of his friends just fucking rolling shit on this game if it was right.
Yeah. I mean, hell, they paid Summit to play the game one time, I believe, and he played it 3 or 4, maybe 5 times after that because he enjoyed it. Then updates started coming out. You know what I mean? Like, so like, yeah, I mean, let's take a look at this, guys. Let's figure out what's going on here. Like, Operation Saint needs to be an update, and it needs to be addressing all of the issues in the game, and it needs to be ironing all of this stuff out to make it a pleasurable experience. Like we said on the last episode, I guarantee if you do an Operation Saint update where we're doing a massive update, no content, no cosmetics, we're focusing on bugs, we're focusing on issues, we're focusing on servers and matchmaking and everything like that, you'll have more players that will come back to the game just to say that you were wrong, just to prove a point. But if you don't have anything to prove, there you go.
There you go.
Rogue Company needs a mad pack.
Yeah, big time.
Mad Pack.
So that's where I stand with it, man. And I think we can all agree. Like that's what needs to happen.
Yes.
We're all on the same page.
Yes. And just out of curiosity, real quick, I'm going to go back and look through their updates, right? When was the last? Let's see. I'm just curious. When did they introduce Juke into the game? Because it's been a while since we've got a new character.
In a minute.
Let's see. Is this it? New rogue. All right, May. We haven't got a new rogue since this was at the end of May. So June. Let's just say June. We haven't got a new rogue in the game since June. That first year, they released 8 rogues, I believe. Then they decided that in the next year, they weren't going to release as many rogues, but they were going to focus on content for the game and also bug fixes and things like that. They have not successfully done either one of those things.
Nope.
And we don't have a new rogue. It's been so long that people aren't even asking about new rogues.
They forgot about new rogues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for sure. But this has been episode number 36 of the Unofficial Rogue Company Podcast. If you want to contribute in any way, you can hit us up on Twitter at BROGUECAST. You can shoot us an email, broguecast@gmail.com, or you can join the Discord server. The link will be in the description down below. So for this episode, I'm here with Co Reed.
I'm here with Dirt Lord.
I'm here with Garbo.
And I'm here with Griffin.
And thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for watching. And we will hopefully catch you on the next episode. Have a good one, guys.